This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
I'm on my way now.
Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. If you happen to be new around here, my name is Trevor and this is Anna. We are the Delightful Travelers. Make sure to hit subscribe and that like button because if you do, the rain just might stop.
It might. That would be really great. Please press that like button and see if it works. So today, if you haven't been following along, we are on a shore excursion. While we're on a cruise, we are on a Holland America Lines cruise with the Nieuw Statendam, and we're stopped in the Isle of Man. So we are starting things off in the capital city. It's called Douglas. We actually have a shore excursion planned today with Holland America that we booked through the ship, but it doesn't start for a couple of hours, so we figured we'd come in and discover the city, the main town, a little bit before we actually start that, which is also going to be fun. Can you see our ship off there in the background?
I don't think they'll be able to see that. Maybe I'll try to zoom in a little bit, but yeah, we just had to come in on our smaller boats, basically.
Yeah.
Let's talk about where the Isle of Man is. It is between England and Northern Ireland, kind of in the middle of a little sea.
I was gonna make a joke that did you really go on a UK cruise if it didn't rain at least half the time? But funny enough, we are not in the UK. I tried to look up a little bit about the Isle of Man because honestly, didn't really know anything.
No.
I'd heard of it, really had just heard of it, but didn't know a thing about it. So it's not the UK, it's not Ireland, it's not Northern Ireland.
It's not Europe.
It's not Europe. It's its own sovereign state, but it's kind of like overlooked by the UK. I don't know, it's very confusing.
It's really confusing.
Apparently they have British passports here, but they're not part of Britain.
They kind of have their own currency, and it's almost like pound for pound or dollar for dollar with the UK. So it's really interesting. Honestly, we were just trying to look this up, and I thought for sure maybe it was part of the UK. I wonder if it was at some point. We don't have internet today to look this up, so you guys can let us know. But who knew?
I think I maybe read that it was part of Scotland at one point.
Do we consider this a new country? Are we
new country? Yeah, actually tried to look that up too, and everyone was very confused online about whether or not to count this as a country. Maybe you guys can answer that for us.
I'm gonna count it as a country. What do you guys think?
I can only imagine how beautiful this must be on a nice day. You can see we're walking through gardens right along the promenade. There's kind of palm trees here.
Yeah, what's with the palm tree?
Yeah, maybe they just don't get that bad of a weather here, or I should say not much snow. Yeah. Maybe the weather here is not so great.
Yeah, it's kind of cool with the backdrop. You have these kind of old style buildings.
Yeah, like Regency style, is that what you call those?
Different colors as well. It's neat. Yeah. So right behind these pretty buildings is a walking street. So again, we're just out today with no internet and just exploring on our own, 2 feet. But we thought we'd take this opportunity to talk a little bit about what we think of the whole cruising life
so
far.
We're a few days, probably like 5 days in now, something like that.
Yeah, like 5 days, and I know for sure one thing we really like is stopping, and then we get to get off and dip our toes into a little piece of a new location, because what it does is it kind of whets the appetite to wonder like, hey, will we come back here another time?
It really does. So I think for a lot of people, it like check something off a list maybe. Like you got to be like, I went to that place. Yeah. Done, I've seen it. For us, it's more like a scoping mission. Like we get to discover new places that we might want to come back to. I would already say like the Isle of Man never even occurred to me to come to, but who knows?
If you guys remember, we're looking for places to live as we travel. Now, I don't think we'd ever set up shop here and just live here, but we could come back for... Never say never. But we could just come back here for a month if we like it. We'll see how today goes, because we got a lot of fun events planned a little later in the video.
So clearly you guys have not been pushing that like button enough, because it's actually raining even more than it was before. But we did pop into a little place to get some Wi-Fi and managed to get the notes that I made because I couldn't access them before. And I do have a little update to what we were talking about, like what is this place, what does it mean, or what's its status. Basically, it has crown dependency, but it is independent, if that makes sense.
And because we just found some Wi-Fi, we did look up the population. So it's 84,000 people live on this island. That's actually more than I thought. And we looked up the size as well. It's 572 square kilometers in size. Pretty big island.
One thing about this place is it's actually hard to find a lot of information about it. Don't think a lot of other vloggers have been here. It doesn't seem there's that many blog posts. Most of the information that I got actually came from their official website, which is pretty rare to find. But one thing I did come across a lot was something called the Isle of Man TT. Maybe you guys know what that is. It's called the Tourist Trophy. It's a motorcycle race that happens here every year, and it's considered one of the most dangerous races in the world.
Let's take a minute and dry off and thank Squarespace, who is back again as a sponsor this week.
I think you guys know by now that we entirely use Squarespace to build our clients' websites. We build our own website on Squarespace, but you can also build your very own website using Squarespace.
Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that helps you stand out and succeed online. You can easily build your very own website using their super customizable templates. You'll build your website using Fluid Engine, a next-generation website design system from Squarespace which allows you to customize every design detail with reimagined drag-and-drop technology for desktop or mobile.
One thing you might not know about Squarespace is that you can create your own members area. You'll be able to create a new revenue stream for your business and free up time in your schedule by selling access to gated content such as videos, online courses, or newsletters.
Are you ready to build your own website? Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/delightfultravelers for 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website.
And of course, a huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting creators like us.
Ready to go back out in the rain?
Are we dry enough?
I don't know. Here we go.
We thought we'd take you guys over to a castle. We've come over to a new town. It's called Castletown, and we are at Castle Rushen. You can see this glorious looking castle behind me. We're just coming into the inside. I think we can climb up to the top, but this is one of the most preserved medieval castles in the entire world. It's still raining, as you guys can probably see, but look at this, like look at the gates. There's like big spikes there. I didn't think you saw those yet.
Hopefully those don't fall down when we walk through.
You go first, maybe. You let me know.
Well, we got some tight quarters in here, huh?
Yeah, people were way littler back in the day, I think. No, who knows? This is a difficult one to walk up, but we're doing it.
This just might be the most narrow, winding staircase we've ever come across.
So this castle was actually built by the Vikings, I think in the 10th century. I actually read the 10th century, and then our tour guide told us the 13th century, so maybe it started somewhere in the middle there. But it was also used as a prison and a whole bunch of things throughout the years, and the reason that it is actually so well preserved is that it has been continuously used throughout the years. It's not like it just sat here and rotted for hundreds and hundreds of years and then they had to rebuild it. So that's really interesting.
I would not call this the most cozy accommodation. The bed is kind of on the floor here. It'd be pretty cold as well.
Maybe if there was a fire going, it might be a little cozier in here. Throw in some blankets and some pillows, might be a little bit.
I mean, they got all the basics. There is there's a table right here. You can see that, and there is a fireplace. So I guess, I don't know, back in the day, maybe this would be all you need.
Yeah, maybe it would keep you nice and cozy and warm.
I bet they get winters here though that are pretty bad.
I bet you, being right in the middle of the sea, not much protection. I think the winds and rain and maybe snow.
Well, once you get to the top of this castle, you are rewarded with these glorious views from all sides. It actually did not take that long to get up here, did it?
It doesn't. So you kind of walk up these windy stairs. Don't come up if you have any claustrophobia, because they are very, very tiny. There are rooms as you go up that have some like history and things, or just set up like they would have been back in the day.
Yeah.
But there is one room that has all the history of the castle, and if you want to get into that stuff.
One of the reoccurring things that keeps coming up about this tour and just the area that we're in are Vikings, and we love that because we've not been around. Like we just came from Copenhagen in Denmark, for example, and now we're here, and we just keep hearing about Vikings more than we ever have.
For sure, and we have watched a couple of shows on Netflix, like probably most of you guys have. So it's always fun.
Yeah, but it is a nice change of pace to start hearing a little bit more about Vikings and all the years. It's so old. All the history is just so old. So yeah, it's just really a treat to be here.
That was actually really cool, and I honestly wish we had a bit more time. We only, I think, have about an hour and a half here in Castletown, so we kind of had to rush through it a little bit because we do want to see a little bit of the town before we get on our transportation back to Douglas. I think we kind of hinted at that before when we thought we were going to be taking the cool transportation to get here. We just took a bus to get here, but we got to learn a lot about the history and the people here. They are called, I think the people themselves are called Manx, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is also the name of their currency, their language, so it's everything related to here is called Manx. There's even a cat called a Manx cat that doesn't really have a tail.
This keeps going back to like, is this a British territory like Turks and Caicos would be, but they just don't call it that?
Yeah, is it technically a territory? I don't know what the word is for it.
Yeah, or are people from here, do you guys consider it your own country, right?
I think so. I'm going to guess that's what you're going to say, but again, just leave us comments below.
I did want to show you guys this, even though it's raining. So we're right in, I guess you'd call this the square. There's people playing ping pong. There's all these old buildings around, and then you have this area, which I'm not sure what that is for, but it's cool. The castle itself just back there. So we just came there. So far, the town's really small. That's for sure. It's a very small town. You don't need much time if you're coming here.
It's really unfortunate about the rain. I know I hate complaining about rain, but it's just so much easier to explore a place and also vlog. I'm always worried. We're always very nervous about the camera getting too wet when it's like this. So just things you have to keep in mind. But it's so cute here, and I'm trying to envision what it would look like on a sunny
The
day.
thing is, they can't see a thing because of this. So when you do
My
that,
face.
it's actually a really cute street. But if I turn this way, look, I'll show you guys. So it's like kind of tight roads. It's all kind of cobble-y kind of brick. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cute.
So we just tucked into a local watering hole, and I think this is where all the locals seem to congregate. It's called Garrison, and I asked the bartender what is one of the most popular beers here on the island, and they said this. It's an O'Kell's. So it is a pale ale. It's pretty dark in color, and also it came from a cask. So in North America, we don't come across casks too much. Usually when beer comes from a cask, it's warmer. I didn't try it yet, so we're about to find out. Yeah, can confirm it's warm. Like lukewarm beer, and it's never my favorite when that is the case, but there's a good taste on it. It is a good pale ale. I guess I can see why it's the most popular. Apparently they have their own brewery here on the island, we were told as well. I don't know if it's this one or not, but it's pretty cool that this island itself is very self-sufficient is what we're told. So yeah, we'll have this beer. We're hiding from the rain at the moment because right now it's downpouring, so we had to tuck in somewhere, but we'll drink this up and then head to our next place. You ready to catch a train?
How cute is this? We are going on a legit Victorian times steam train.
Beyond fun. The scenery was out of this world, as you guys can tell. I think it's safe to say that if you're coming to this island, you have got to get on that thing.
Yeah, so you don't have to be on a cruise in order to go on that. I'm pretty sure you can just come and book your tickets, but if you are on the cruise, of course, they offer that as a thing. It's so cool to go on it. It was like original 1800s Victorian.
Crazy old.
Carriages and locomotives, all the original stuff too. It felt like actually being in the 1800s, what it would be like to be on a train.
Yeah, and you know, I thought it was going to be a little bit gimmicky. Like, I mean, sure, it is a touch, but at the same time, you don't come across trains like this too often.
Yeah, I think the last train we went on was a Japanese bullet train, a little bit different.
Yeah, this one wasn't nearly as fast as the bullet train in Japan. Well, we are now back at the cruise ship, and we have a glorious view of Douglas, the town/city that we just left, and now the weather is great as well.
I know, of course, at the very end of the day, by the time we were leaving, it started to clear up and turn into a gorgeous day. Too bad it couldn't have been like this all day, but you know, we only got a little bit damp. It was okay.
No, you guys didn't like the video enough. We said if you like the video,
No,
the rain will stop.
It's your fault. It's totally your fault. But
the Isle of Man.
yeah, really liked it. Love to come back, definitely, and explore more of it. I think we only got to see a little bit of a smidgen of it. Would love to have more time next time. For sure.
Yeah, we'd really like to come back on our own without a time limit. Today we were taken around on a tour. You guys know us. We like to come and explore things properly. So if we could come back on our own with no time limits and really get into the Isle of Man,
but that
would be awesome.
That's been what this cruise has been about for us, is really like scoping out places and figuring out if we would want to go back. Isle of Man, definitely checklist. Yes, we would definitely come back.
Well, speaking of the cruise, we should wrap up like our overall thoughts, since this is the final cruise vlog for now. Lots more coming up on the UK, but what do we think?
Yeah, so let's maybe go through some categories of things that we really liked. Like one, for sure was the food.
Oh.
And they told us in advance, Holland American Lines is really well known for having great food. And we were like, is it really going to be that
how
good?
good could it be?
It was really, really excellent. I don't think I had one thing that was even okay. Like,
No,
everything was great.
I think in my head I was comparing it to like resorts before I got here. I thought it would be about as good as a resort. So, you know, sometimes that can be on or off.
Hit or
but
miss,
the
yeah.
food here has been great. Everything
good.
from the main courses, so many amazing dishes we had, all the way down to even like the pastries and ice cream and just sweet
The
treats.
drinks and the coffee, everything.
Yeah, the drinks. That was awesome. Now, what about the staff?
The staff, such great staff, such amazing people. Like, even, it's one thing I think we didn't really talk about in our tour video when we went through the whole ship, was you have a room attendant, like the same room attendant every day, so you get to see them all the time,
So
and they talk
nice.
to you, and they know your name.
Yeah.
Like, how great is that? He comes in twice a day. Always, like, we asked for ice in the evenings. Every night it was always there. And one day we needed help with it. We were having an equipment problem. And he went and got us like
a wrench.
A wrench.
So they really get used to your routines.
Yeah.
If you want good service, Holland America is definitely for you.
Yeah.
Now back to our room. We just mentioned that we were really impressed with the room overall.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it was my favorite part, but it was so nice at the end of the day to come back to this room. I know for some people the room is just where you sleep at night, but I wanted to be comfortable and cozy. It was all of those things. We loved having this veranda. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So the room was definitely one of my favorite things.
Yeah, me too. It was really comfortable. I didn't really feel the ship rocking much at all. If you've never cruised before and you're worried about that, I think on day one we took a couple ginger pills, like just in case.
Just in case.
But we had no issues at
No,
all.
didn't have any
Even
problems.
on the days at sea. So it was great. We slept comfortably as if it was our own place, really. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just maybe talk about any amenities or favorite things on the ship. In general, I know we talked about getting lost at first. So it took a day or two to really like get your bearings and figure out like what's the middle of the ship, the back, I know there's actual words for these, the front, and where you are when you're walking around. It took a day or two, but then after that we basically knew our way.
Yeah, you learn your way pretty quick. You realize there's about 3 or 4 floors that are kind of the communal floors where you're going to eat and you know, and there's like entertainment and stuff. Once you figure that out, you're golden. You're set. You know
And
where
once you can
everything
get to your
is.
room, you're all good.
Yeah, and the ship itself is very modern, if you're wondering. It's a pretty new ship, I believe, so
Yeah.
we found it really modern, really comfortable. There's lots of glass everywhere, so you have amazing views on whichever port you're at or whatever part of sea you're at.
Yeah, we have absolutely nothing to compare it to. As you guys know, this is our very first cruise, but I'd say this is an amazing ship.
Yeah, me too. I would totally agree. And now here's the question. Would we do this again?
Yeah, you guys are probably wondering that. Like, are you going to become cruise people? So I would say I would love to add it into like our
Rotation?
Yeah. We're never going to become like a full-time cruise channel. I
No.
can promise you that. But you know, doing 1 or 2 a year, I would totally do.
Oh, easily. Would do a couple of these a year, especially when we can get to some parts of the world that we don't normally visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we think in that sense, like cruising is definitely from us, but we'll never be like a full-time cruise channel for all you guys that watch us week to week. But we hope you enjoyed this. This is brand new for us, brand new for you guys watching, and it was so much fun.
We had such a great time. Again, we want to say a huge thank you to Holland America Lines. They invited us over to do this cruise, and we couldn't say a big enough thank you to them.
Yes, thank you. And speaking of thank yous, thanks to each and every one of you for following along. If you're new around here, it's Trevor and Delightful Travelers. If you're not new, you guys know the drill. Thanks for tuning in and all the support you give us. But for now, we're going to say goodbye to the cruise ship
Bye to our room.
and go off on our own in the UK.
Yeah, so we're going to be in Glasgow starting off. We have actually been there before, but I don't think we've ever filmed there. So
No.
excited for that.
Yeah, so expect in the next video to see us in Scotland.
All right, guys, that's it.
From the Isle of Man, wishing you delightful travels.
See you soon.